Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Jimmy Chan, your friendly neighborhood Holy Bible explainer. We are reading Deuteronomy 12. It is titled, The One Place of Worship. These are the decrees and laws you must be careful to follow in the land that the Lord, the God of your ancestors, has given you to possess as long as you live in the land. Destroy completely all the places on the high mountains, on the hills, and under every spreading tree, where the nations you are dispossessing worship their gods. Break down their altars, smash their sacred stones, and burn their Asherah poles, P-O-L-E-S, in the fire. Cut down the idols of their gods and wipe out their names from those places. You must not worship the Lord your God in their way. So, remember God created, told Moses to create something called a tabernacle. You can watch some of my older videos. That is now the Israelites' way of worshiping the Lord our God. But you are to seek the place the Lord your God will choose from among all your tribes to put his name there for his dwelling. To that place you must go. There, bring your burnt offerings and sacrifices, your tithes and special gifts, what you have vowed to give, and your free will offerings, and the firstborn of your herds and flocks. There, in the presence of the Lord your God, you and your families shall eat and shall rejoice in everything you have put your hand to, because the Lord your God has blessed you. You are not to do as we do here today, everyone doing as they see fit, since you have not yet reached the resting place and the inheritance the Lord your God is giving you. But you will cross the Jordan, that's a river, and settle in the land the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, and he will give you rest from all your enemies around you, so that you will live in safety. Then to the place the Lord your God will choose as a dwelling for his name, there you are to bring everything I command you, your burnt offerings and sacrifices, your tithes and special gifts, and all the choice possessions you have vowed to the Lord, and there rejoice before the Lord your God, you, your sons and daughters, your male and female servants, and the Levites from your towns, who have no allotment or inheritance of their own. Be careful not to sacrifice your burnt offerings anywhere you please. Offer them only at the place the Lord will choose in one of your tribes, and there observe everything I command you. Nevertheless, you may slaughter your animals in any of your towns and eat as much of the meat as you want, as if it were gazelle or deer, according to the blessing the Lord your God gives you. Both the ceremonially unclean and clean may eat it, but you must not eat the blood. Pour it out on the ground like water. You must not eat in your own towns the tithe of your grain, and new wine and olive oil, or the firstborn of your herds and flocks, or whatever you have vowed to give, or your free will offerings, or special gifts. Instead, you are to eat them in the presence of the Lord your God, at the place the Lord your God will choose, you, your sons and daughters, your male and female servants, and the Levites from your towns, and you are to rejoice before the Lord your God in everything you put your hand to. Be careful not to neglect the Levites as long as you live in your land. So let's take a look at these verses 15 to 19. So Moses is telling the Israelites, you have to watch earlier videos. Israelites said, Moses, go ahead, talk to God, and then God will tell you, and then you tell us. So Moses is telling them that God is telling them, when they get to that land, you can eat meat, as much meat as you want. So in Egypt, a long time ago, the king must have limited what you could eat and how much you could eat. But God is saying you can eat whatever you want, but as worship, to keep it simpler, the firstborn of your animals, the firstborn, just that first, your parents have the oldest son or oldest daughter. But when you have animals, every first animal born from a female animal, right? It could be a cow, or it could be a lamb, or it could be a goat. You have to bring that one to the tabernacle or a temple, and then you have to put your hand on it, and then the priest will slaughter it for you, or you slaughter it, and then he will sacrifice parts of it to God, and then he keeps part of it. But remember that the priest of the entire animal, the priest only got something like the breast and the thigh. So it's there's so much meat on the animal, but you only got one piece from here of the animal and one piece from the upper leg. And then you get the rest back. A lot of it that was burnt on the altar is called a memorial portion. It's just a small part of the sacrifice that gets burnt up to God. So here it's made more clear that when you bring your sacrifice, you eat it at the temple, and maybe the priest will eat with you. I really don't know. He might have time to eat with you, and then you could probably take some of it home. But I think that you cannot leave any of it till morning. You have to, if you take it home, you got to eat it all that night with your family. So verse 20, when the Lord your God has enlarged your territory, as he promised you, and you crave meat, and say, I would like some meat, then you may eat as much of it as you want. If the place where the Lord your God chooses to put his name is too far away from you, so if the tabernacle or temple is very far from where you live, you may slaughter animals from the herds and flocks the Lord has given you, as I have commanded you. And in your own towns you may eat as much of them as you want. Eat them as you would gazelle or deer. Both the ceremonially unclean and the clean may eat. But be sure you do not eat the blood, because the blood is the life, and you must not eat the life with the meat. You must not eat the blood. Pour it out on the ground like water. Do not eat it, so that it may go well with you and your children after you. because you will be doing what is right in the eyes of the Lord. But take your consecrated things and whatever you have vowed to give, and go to the place the Lord will choose. Present your burnt offerings on the altar of the Lord your God, both the meat and the blood. The blood of your sacrifices must be poured beside the altar of the Lord your God, but you may eat the meat. Be careful to obey all these regulations I am giving you, so that it may always go well with you and your children after you, because you will be doing what is good and right in the eyes of the Lord your God. Let us return to the beginning of this entire section. It's called the one place. One place of worship. So you cannot worship God in your own way. You are to seek the place the Lord your God will choose from among all your tribes, to put his name there for his dwelling, and to that place you must go. So, I don't think it's only one place. It's like, for example, you could go to any Christian church if you're a Christian. You just have to make sure that, it's really Christian. So he's saying that if you live so far away from the tabernacle or the temple, which is that main place, there could be other places that a priest or a Levite, under guidance from God, he could make another place. But you have to make sure that they're worshiping God, the Lord. Thank you. Keep God first. He'll take your places.